There's honestly a lot going on right now in Dungeon Defenders, and I'm really excited, and there's a ton to talk about, so let's go ahead and jump into things. First things first, someone in my comments pointed out that they think the tavern is actually inside of a fishbowl now, given all of the terrain, all of the changes, everything being swamped with water, and if you look up at the sky, there is a big, like, glowing circle in the center, which could represent the center of the fishbowl, and there's this sort of, like, wavy pattern in the sky, which could be, like, the glass. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we are just like underwater under Atlantis. I don't like, it's tough to tell exactly what's going on. Maybe it was actually told somewhere and I just totally missed it, but I thought it was a really, really cool theory. My favorite touch in the new tavern is just seeing all the moss, the mossy green on all of the wood planks on all the floors. That's such a cool visual to me, and it just kind of reminds me of like mossy cobblestone in Minecraft. Now, I have a ton of new armors and upgrades to actually sort through in my tavern that I haven't really gone through yet. There's so many pieces of Supremes, Mythicals, Transcendents. We got so many Transcendents, more than ever in one episode, last episode. There's been a lot of massive changes, but I also want to play the game because there's so much cool stuff going on right now with the new Ruthless mode, dude. I am so excited to try just doing the entire campaign again on Ruthless, doing the entire normal, traditional Dungeon Defenders campaign, redoing that on... Oh, it'd be so fun. I have no idea how truly ruthless is it, right? I could beat Deeper Well on Nightmare Survival all the way to 25. You know, I can absolutely crush like Deeper Well now. But if I were to switch to Ruthless, there's no way that I just lose, right? That's what I'm so like curious about. Can I actually, like, could I even beat the first level on Ruthless? Is it that hard? Or would I be able to do a few, but maybe once I get to like the second or third row of levels, like that's where I start to slow down. I'm just so interested in seeing how ruthless actually is. I also got a comment suggesting me to try out a specific map on Ruthless because they think the drops might be kind of busted in relation to how difficult it is. So I really want to get to that if possible. But first things first, we have so much to get to, so much to do. Some of it will have to wait for future episodes. Let's do what we can in this episode. I'm going to go ahead and jump into my item box, sort through a few things, see what upgrades I can grab. And like, this looks like it could be. The problem is actually probably, this is the only supreme piece of armor I got. The problem I'm finding is this is probably good, really good for like my barbarian. It's probably really, really good for like a PvP or a physical attacking DPS character. But this is not a good hero piece of armor. You know, the only hero stats it has is plus 250 range and then plus 17 attack rate. That's it. This is not a good tower armor. Well, let's actually switch heroes over to something like my Monk or Series EV or something like that. I feel like these characters are probably more important than my Squire at the moment, which hurts me to say. I love my Squire. It's my favorite character. He's so fun, but as I push closer and closer to the endgame of Dungeon Defenders, ooh, a 1 billion. I've never seen that as well. A 1 billion costed just anything in the shop is crazy to see. Minus 424 tower damage. Interesting. Getting distracted. I want to come grab the XP bonus really quick. And my Monk is pretty close, man. I mean, close being 20 million XP away from level 90. But 90 will be huge because I can actually then equip these pieces of ultimate weapons, which is going to be a massive upgrade. Going from transcendent cardboard, literal cardboard, to ultimate level gear. I'm just so excited for that. But let's go ahead and look through and see if we can find any actual upgrades for my Monk with the new transcendent drops we've achieved. Right, it's always good to go through and check every piece of gear, even if they have a little thumbs down, because the game doesn't always know what exact stats you want. I was looking at this piece of Transcendent Bracers, and I think it is a small upgrade after I were to put a ton of levels into it. As you can see, my current Enchanted Bracers, worth 229 million, because I've put so much mana into them, have like 330 more HP, but there's also going to be a 33% stat difference, because this one on the left isn't seeing the set bonus. So I think this is actually a really solid upgrade, even though these are worth so much mana. That's crazy. Yeah, even comparing them now, post-set bonus, and I'm going to have around 250 levels or so I can put into this. I'm going to have to dump a lot of mana into these new bracers, putting stats into the tower HP and into the aura, but I think that this will actually be a pretty damn strong upgrade. Moving on from that, there is also, I think it was this set of armor. This is not bad, but there's no tower damage, which is a pretty big fall off. This I like. Here I think I'm losing 263 tower HP for 278 attack rate, and also all the other stats. After the bonus and after upgrading, I could hard make this much better than what I currently have. So this piece of plate body is going to head over to my monk right now. Perfect. We're actually getting some nice upgrades. What I probably should have done, I always forget to do this sometimes, I should have shown you guys my stats before and after the upgrades. We'll do it on the other characters from this point forward. And you know what? Let's see if we get any more upgrades on the monk. Maybe we'll take some screenshots. And it's totally cool, I think, to see that comparison, to see the big difference, I think is very, very cool. We also have so much mana that it's honestly nice to make these upgrades and then pump mana into them. I have 19.4 billion mana at the moment that I've mostly just been sitting on it. I do like to collect mana and hoard it like Smog the Dragon, but hey man, at some point, even I know you got to spend money to make money and make some good upgrades. Let's go ahead and see what other plate options we've got and see if there's any other upgrades possible. All right, in terms of most other gear and everything, that is looking like that is it. But there is a nice little accessory upgrade over here, a different bracer that should give better stats onto my monk, and I'm so here for that. This is honestly maybe an upgrade. 32 HP and 28 attack rate with 8 damage Versta. I like the 33 range, though. I actually like the extra aura range on the monk. If you're going to have a character where you put the good aura range accessory, or like the just range in general, tower range, right? You're probably going to put it on the monk, so I'm okay with that. And you know what? Screw it. Let's go ahead and dump some mana into things now. So I'm going to take a quick screenshot of my current tower stats, get ready to pump some fat mana into things, and we'll check the stats after. Now, I will be getting rid of my cardboard tube soon, so absolutely no upgrades are going to get pumped into him. But I kind of want to pump something into some of these accessories. The problem is accessories are so expensive to upgrade. It is scary. They get so expensive so fast. But if I have an accessory that I think I am going to hang on to for a really long time, it's probably worth to pump money into, but I still feel too newbie to touch the upgrades for accessories, so I'm going to stay away from those, honestly, for the time being. Let's go ahead and check out our other pieces of gear. What did we just upgrade? So, for example, I think these bracers were just upgraded. They're missing a bunch of aura radius. Let's watch. We're at 19.4 billion mana right now. If I pump into this, 19.37, that's honestly nothing. Honestly, this is cheap from my standards, right, of pumping stuff into. That is actually no problem at all. I want to put more into effectiveness here. I feel like we'll pump some into effectiveness. We're at 150 out of 254. We'll pump more. So we spent around 1 billion mana. Okay, now it's getting expensive. We spent around 1 billion. Do we want to pump one more is the question. This will probably spend 1 billion alone with just one pump. I think we're going to have this piece of gear for quite a long period of time. Am I okay with putting 1 bill here into the pump? I think I am. I'm going to go for it. Yup, it pretty much nailed it. That was pretty much exactly 1 billion for that pump. So there we go. That is almost fully leveled up. That cost me quite a bit of mana, but it's super worth it. And while we're here, let's go ahead and do our fishy upgrades. You do get XP for free on your pets, but you do have to go redeem it. So make sure to always go redeem that, and don't hit control. A big mistake I made once was hitting like control or shift to do pump more at once. I think if shift is you do like +5 at a time, and control is +50, I think. But I did that if you do it with your fish, you'll end up paying for those upgrades as opposed to getting them for free, and it can be fine to do that at times, but it gets really expensive really fast, so just be careful. All right, next up we've got our enchanted plate vest, our actual body slot. Probably gonna pump more into aura radius. I like that. I'm gonna do double pump into aura radius. We're starting at 17.1 there. I don't know if I'm putting too much. I might be putting too much love into the radius. That's a fear that I have versus attack speed and strength in general. Let's go ahead and pump into strength here, down to 15.8. So I've spent like almost 2 bill upgrading this. I think 4 bill or so in total. That's pretty wild. We're going to do smaller pumps with shift. How many is shift? That's such a weird amount. Is it 50? What is that amount? Oh, that would be, no. I actually don't know why. 12? Huh. That's weird that it does that amount. Interesting. Anyways, let's go ahead and maybe it lowers the amount as the higher level you get. I'm not sure. We'll pump that in. That's fine. Slowly pump a little more in. Once we're pushing like 4 bills spent, I'm easing up here pretty quickly. Let's make this an even 310 and make this like a 440 flat or something like that. I like the even numbers or the flat numbers. Well, now it's 441. Oopsie. That's okay. I'm at 15.2, so that's around 4 billion mana spent. 4 billion just on upgrades for my monk. I think I'm good. I think I can stop there. That's pretty wild. Whew, that was expensive. Jeez Louise, fellas. Let's go ahead and check our stats. Let's compare our stats. So here's obviously our new stats. Here were our old stats. Let's go ahead and see the main comparisons. Okay, so new stat versus old stat. The HP is the same. That makes sense. Wow, that's a massive increase though. 200. This is also not including our old stats before upgrading gear. So we've actually had more of a stat jump than even this. This is actually a crazy stat jump. 230 or so extra strength. That's insane. And then radius, we've got around 300 extra radius. That's a if you're getting plus 200 plus 300 stat increases, that is ridiculous. Effect speed around plus 70. Okay, that's more reasonable, but that is, dude, that is huge. A total in what? How many total stats did we just increase on our monk? Something like 400 or 500, if not more. Massive upgrades. We still have a lot of heroes to upgrade. I didn't expect this whole video to turn into that. I kind of like the idea of splitting that up because I do want to, once again, I really want to play the game. I'm just really excited. There's so much to talk about. I'm really excited about Ruthless mode. I really want to jump into it, but there are so many upgrades to take my time to purposely look through before jumping into that mode. All right, over on my summoner is rocking the leather armor, and I do really want to try to stick to their specific themes because having different characters using different sets of armor ends up being really good because then you can actually kind of like distribute armor a lot better. If you have everybody using pristine, then everybody starts to fight over pristine armor, and that becomes difficult to actually have enough of the good armor for everybody. To be fair, my summoner's armor is pretty damn upgraded and pretty well, like, I don't know, this actually probably would be an upgrade hilariously after the 33% boost and dumping a bunch of mana into it to level it up. That might be worth picking up. Yeah, plus my current gloves are a piece of mythical. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give these gloves over to my summoner. And we'll have to do some big upgrades there. You know what? Before I forget, let's go ahead and do before and after screenshots. So let's give these gloves, take a good screenshot, and we'll see the stats before and after all the upgrades. Okay, but now that we have that information logged, we can go ahead and put back on these leather gloves, and we'll upgrade them in a second to actually make them a much better upgrade. I'm going to check out some other pieces of leather gear and see if any of these will be upgrades. Didn't see much in the leather gear department. It's pretty crazy. Like, I feel like the upgrades previously were like, oh, this piece of gear that I have is bad and is pretty much just a place filler, and I can't wait to actually get a piece of gear that has stats in the slots that I actually want. But we're very far from that now. Now we're just replacing very good pieces of gear with even better pieces of gear, and I'm sure we'll only, you know, increase those increments more and more. But next up is going to be accessories. I'll see if there's any little accessory upgrades I want to grab here, like possibly this. Not really. It's like the damage is a little bit better. This is like marginally better. I guess I'll go ahead and go for that. It's not much of a difference, to be totally honest. I like the damage. Like, this is honestly has a lot of really good stats, but the HP is nice as well. This actually has some really good stats for the summoner as well. We'll check other slots really quick. Can actually equip that? So I think that is going to be it. I could check pets technically, but I don't know. Maybe I should be checking pets a little more. I think fish in a bowl is just pretty much the best upgrade for every character right now. I don't, if you have any suggestions or other feedback, I've seen people suggest other pets for like DPS pets. That I understand. And I've seen so much feedback about me possibly getting a DPS character in. I will at one point. I like the idea of DPS characters, specifically the barbarian is very cool to me. A lot of people have been suggesting me building a DPS monk, and I'll probably get around to that at some point, but it's not on the highest of my priorities at the moment, even if it's super good, as well as I really like playing Dungeon Defenders as a super tower-based game. I think it's fun to mix it up and do a little bit of both, or go hard into the hack and slash, almost game style of it at times. But to me, the peak Dungeon Defenders to me is putting time and effort and energy and working really hard to get all your stats up so that you can actually just like play a map and kind of just like AFK or like kind of do it in the background. I really like these multitasking style of games and activities, and to me, that's what peak Dungeon Defenders is. That's what I kind of aim for in my playstyle. All right, now that our gear is picked out, let's go spend some more of our hard-earned mana. Here we are over on the lucky handguards, and I feel like when it comes to the summoner, I really want minion health to be able to actually have them operate as a wall. Like, having tower health on the summoner is probably one of the most important ones, if not the most important one to actually have that stat onto, but hero damage is also super, super important. I think I don't need any attack rate on the minions. I think it's kind of at cap or at peak where it stops being as efficient. I think damage is probably stat number 1. I'm gonna go ahead and dump a bunch of mana. We spent around 1 billion, a little over 1 billion by dumping all that mana, and if not more. Little more than 1 billion mana spent there, I believe. We're gonna pump this up to that would be 231 after. Okay, anyways, interesting. Should I do one more upgrade then? We'll do it into damage, I guess. It seems like one level is +1 and then the other is +2, or it's just, I don't know, it's interesting. This would give me +2 to 231, but this would give +1 to 474. Interesting. I don't know. We're going to stop at that point. I think that's plenty of upgrades for our... Did we do our leather vest? No, what did we just... We did the handguards. I believe that's what we just... I think so? I think that's what we just upgraded. Over to our leather vest, which has some upgrades already. Do I want to put more into it? You know what? This is the upgrade episode. Sure. Let's dump. We're spending our mana, boys. I'm okay with it. Let's dump some more into damage here. Oof, total mana getting absolutely obliterated. We can do both of our fissionables as well. I don't like that I can only put it into cast rate here. I forget what causes that. If you know what causes this, honestly, let me know in the comments. Be a nice little feedback here. I'll pump everything into damage. The damage here is actually nice. Free upgrades on your pets as long as you actually go use the XP, of course. Always remember to do that. And finally, last thing to upgrade. Anything else? I guess I upgraded this. I didn't upgrade too many things on the summoner. Mostly just the... Seems like it was mostly just the glove slot. This already has 100 levels into it, but we can put more if I'm going to be sitting... These are like... I feel like these are actually quite good. I'll put some into HP and then the rest into damage. I'm at 201 out of 245 levels right there. Put more into damage here. Down under 12 billion. I started this episode at 19 billion. I have spent 7 billion mana on upgrades. Holy guacamole. Let's go ahead and do more of that. A little more here, maybe. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's where I feel like I want to stop. Okay, it's moment of truth. Time to compare old stats to the new stats. Here are the old stats, and then right above them are the new stats. All right, HP, we went from 2,553 up to 2,681, so around 130 or so gained stats. Damage, 300 or so alone was gained. Around 100 in attack range, sure, why not? And then around, we lost 6 attack rate. Oh no, boys. Was it really even an upgrade? That becomes the question. Oh, that's awesome. So total stats gained around 100, 400, like 500. Yeah, once again, 500 or so total stats gained. Talk about a massive upgrade. I've spent 8 billion mana, and I've only upgraded 2 heroes. I still have 2 like more massive ones and some other heroes that honestly need more love. Oh my, I thought I had plenty of mana, but it is dissipating very quickly. Over to the Series EV, I'm going to go ahead and look for some gear upgrades and just see if there's anything I can equip. I'm probably going to be a little more conservative about dumping my mana from this point forward though. Interestingly, my Series EV, I feel like needs some of the upgrades the most, packing some of the worst gear. Like, for example, look at this. This is going to be a massive upgrade once I equip it. I'm going to get a screenshot of my stats prior, but that's going to be an insane upgrade. Look at these. Yeah, my Series EV stats are kind of lacking, even though it is packing a Supreme Crossbow. But yeah, no, this character needs some support from me. All right, I have the old stats logged. Let's go ahead and equip those. We're sticking to our chain armor here. That will be super important. So we did switch 1 piece of armor so far. Let me look through more. Yeah, this just feels like a strict upgrade. I'm adding 234 damage. I'm getting rid of some attack rate here, but this is going to buff like pretty much every other stat and just be super what I need. So even though it's a 150 million transcendent chain, whew, maybe I need to sell some of this stuff off and get some of my mana back, honestly. I do definitely keep a lot just in case it could be useful. Then I definitely have some accessory upgrades I can go ahead and pump onto my Series EV. I'm going to give this over to the Series EV. The one that I was using had a lot of, it was worth a lot of mana. Like it's, as you can see, a lot of these think they're an upgrade now, but it doesn't actually give any of the stats that I want. So we'll go ahead and rock with that guy for the time being. All right, this is looking much better in terms of stats. Before we actually do the comparison, let's go back in and pump some mana into our upgrades. How much mana? I don't know. I want to be a little more careful / hesitant from this point forward. I might need to go play some of the game before I actually continue these aggressive, financially irresponsible upgrades. Let's first look into our Supreme Crossbow. I feel like we'll be keeping this for... Actually, will we be keeping this for a while? Is this... I think the Series EV actually can equip the level 90 stuff. Yeah, it just needs level 90. So... I don't want to put too much love into this then for the time being. So let's go ahead and first focus on our actual gear. Like this cap is not good. It's kind of funny. This is probably one of the worst pieces of gears on one of my characters right now. I need an upgrade for a chain cap, 100%. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that. Let's go ahead and jump into our chain gloves. I always forget exactly what stats you want on the Series EV. I think beam damage is actually good, from my understanding, because all the stats, it seems like it correlates stats from here into the stats that it gives to the towers you upgrade with the series booster. I think that's my understanding. So I'm just going to pump massive amounts of mana into this. We'll pump a few more. All right, that should be good. We just pumped a bunch into damage. There we go, up to 420-ish. Okay. We'll go back. And then right here, this has so many levels it could upgrade. Holy, 265. That's dangerous. That is dangerous. It makes me want to pump mana up to 200. Under 10 billion. We're under 10 billion, boys. We are under 10 billion mana, unfortunately. Actually hurts to see. I'm not going to lie. Any free upgrades? Yes, please give me the free upgrades. Any free upgrades that I can take right now is appreciated. Honestly, casting rate is probably more beneficial to do live upgrades or anything like that. This actually, wait, this fish in a bowl has so many levels, doesn't it? Is its only level? Yeah, I'm gonna hold shift. Yeah, this fish in a bowl, oh my goodness, I'm glad I held shift. Even if I end up spending some mana, yeah, that's okay. This fish in a bowl had so many levels. That's actually crazy. I don't know if I'd ever upgraded that, so we had so many free levels to pump into there. Interesting. Okay, next up, our boots. Our boots already have 150 into upgrades. Our boots are actually really good, I feel like. I'm gonna go ahead and let those sit. Now let's do the moment of truth, compare our new stats to our old stats. Now I'm guessing that these won't be as drastic since I wasn't willing to dump as much mana into this one, but I might be wrong here. Oh my god, I'm so wrong. These upgrades were way bigger. Over 400 extra beam health. In terms of damage, almost a 1,000 damage increase. Are you kidding me? That's insane. 800 or so, it looks like. 800 or so damage increase. 100 on shock beam stun, you know, sure. We actually lost around 200 beam reset. So that's significant. That's worth noting. Losing around 200 in a stat is nothing to scoff at. It's definitely just a change, and it's worth it for these other stats, but that's something to take note of for sure. All right, let me just do some upgrades on my mage, and we'll go ahead and move on after this, because I don't know if I have it in me to just do upgrades for every character. Like, realistically, I probably should be upgrading my squire. I should upgrade my... A lot of these guys need some more love, and remind me in future videos, okay? Vote on, like, what champions, what heroes you want to see me put love into, and give them that support and that love. You only have so much time, so we're going to jump into the mage. We're gonna go ahead and first screenshot our stats really quick, and then we'll actually look at what upgrade options we have. Now this guy uses pristine, which I think is some of the armor that I have the best of laying around. This guy could also use some of the ultimate gear that I'm sitting on once he actually has the level to do so. So I probably don't want to dump any mana into any weapon upgrades, but I might want to make some weapon switches. Like this to me looks a lot better than what I'm previously using, to be totally honest. We're going to go ahead and pick that up. Yeah, for sure, honestly. Having that extra tower damage. The tower damage is like the main thing I want to focus on with my... Even this, like, losing 100 range, honestly, probably not worth, but it's kind of tempting. It just has damage and attack rate, which is mostly what I need. All right, weapons aside, let's go ahead and jump into armor. Sadly, once again, my main piece of pristine is good for a DPS hero. It has really good DPS stats, like increasing the character's HP, speed, and damage, and cast rate, all significantly. Like this is a great piece of armor for a DPS hero, but that's not really something I have built at the moment. So unfortunately, we're just not going to worry about that for the time being. Moving on to other transcendent armor pieces, I feel like I have an inkling there is something here that's going to be an upgrade like this. This is just going to be a clear, massive upgrade. Holy, let's go ahead and actually equip that and then see what other options. That's a massive, massive upgrade that I actually just undertook. Hilariously, I don't really see much else. My boots, like, I'm looking at these boots. These boots might be an upgrade. The problem is my current boots packing plus 500 almost tower damage is just really hard to beat, and I just don't really need the other stats as much. Like the tower HP increase isn't that crazy to me. 265 range is nice, but I'm basically losing that in damage, which is a much better stat. Like it doesn't actually end up being an upgrade. So that's pretty much it when it comes to gear for my mage. Now maybe there's an accessory over here that I'm missing out on, but I'm not really seeing any tower damage on these accessories, so I don't think I'm seeing much. That is pretty much it. Let's go ahead and jump into, once again, let's go spend just a little bit more of our mana. Just a little bit more, guys. Spend a little bit more of our mana and dump it into some of these upgrades. Let's see what we are looking at. First things first, what's level 1? What's like a new piece of gear like this? Let's do our fish in a bowl, actually. To be totally honest. Either attack rate or range. I kind of like increasing the... Actually, no, attack rate is probably what I need. The range is probably fine. I feel like I literally see minions getting killed by the lightning tower in their door, so I think we're fine on that. So the body plate. This thing is going to be a pretty fat upgrade, I'm pretty sure. Let's go ahead and put into pro mode, of course. Let's go ahead and spend a fair amount of mana into this. Oh, that's our max. Oh yeah, isn't it like certain pieces of gear like transcendent you can only get to like 500 plus or something like that? I think you can only get to like certain amounts of plus. So it's something like that. I forget the restriction. There is some reason why you stop being able to actually level step up at that point, but that's okay. We'll put the rest into attack rate, I think. 210. I spent another billion mana, guys. Just gone like that. Oh geez, should I stay above 8 million? 8 billion, excuse me. Nope, I'm gonna go down to below 7. Ooh, that one hurt. That one hurt, but I think it's worth it. Whew, that's a massive upgrade. That is a massive. Let's compare the stats, guys. Let's see just how good this upgrade was. Was it actually worth spending this amount of mana? So I go from 1190 tower HP up to 1290, so a flat 100. Now my damage goes from 2100 up to 25, so 400 tower damage is super good. And then attack range, we actually do get a nice little clean plus 200, and then attack rate as well, another plus like 200ish. That's a lot of stuff. Plus 100 here, that's 100, plus 400 here, that's 500 total stats. 700, almost plus 1000 stats in total. Pretty darn good if you ask me. This episode is so strange. Number one, I didn't expect to spend a whole episode just doing upgrades. Number two, I can't believe I'm so excited about it. I guess gear is probably one of the most important things in Dungeon Defender, so if you aren't excited about it, what are you really doing? But I don't know, I'm having so much fun. It's crazy to see these giant numbers go up, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it as well. This is easily the craziest upgrading spree I've ever done in the game. It's the most amount of mana I've ever spent by far, going from 19 billion at the start to just under 7 billion. So I spent what, well, over 10 billion mana in this episode, probably close to like 12 billion. Woo! And then I also finally got to like reap all the rewards of grinding that super long dread dungeon survival mix mode and beating that and picking up all the gear. Like I finally get to actually go ahead and reap the rewards of that, which just feels amazing. You know, you play the game for fun, but you get to actually go achieve, you know, get that dopamine, the accomplishments, whatever. This is kind of like, this is the part where you kind of catch the shiny Pokemon in Pokemon for an analogy, versus like playing the map is just the journey. It's just all the encounters along the way there. But thank you so much for watching this episode of Dungeon Defenders and this massive upgrade that will maybe one day probably get topped, right? I guess that's the Dungeon Defenders motto, is just increase and ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Apologies, I didn't even touch a map today. It's kind of criminal, but I thought this was a good little, just nice little concise episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like it if you did. That always helps tremendously. Subscribe if you want to see Dungeon Defenders content every other day. And other than that, thank you to my Patreons, which will be thanked more properly here in a split second. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Peace, Reno. Yo, thank you so much for watching until the very end of the video, and a huge shout out to everybody listed here who goes above and beyond, supports the Patreon, and allows me to focus more on Dungeon Defenders content. Thanks again. Have a great day.